So we will start with a new chapter from paper 2. Okay, so this is from paper 2, tribal society. So these are the topics which is there in this chapter, mainly the definitional problem, then the one with respect to integration and autonomy. So this topic I will be covering along with ethnic movement. Along with this movement, we will discuss about issue of integration and autonomy. The issues related to integration and autonomy finally result into ethnic movement. So when we discuss about ethnic movement as a cause of ethnic movement, we will be discussing about these issues. Okay, so that will be the reason for ethnic movement. So in this session, I'm going to talk about this definitional problems of tribes. Definitional problems of tribes means in India, what are the problems in defining a tribe? So we may not be able to define the tribe as primitive, because a lot of, in the modern situation, it's not that all the tribes are primitive. For example, Minas are a tribal community. So we cannot explain them in terms of primitive. We cannot also explain them in terms of, backwardness. They are so much advanced, and you can see in IAS, IPS, etc. so much of people are from this particular community. So you cannot define in terms of primitive, you cannot define in terms of backwardness, you cannot define them in terms of language, because different tribals are using different language. Okay, so there are a lot of problem in defining tribes. We cannot come up with a conclusive one single definition for tribe. So what are the reasons for that, and what are the main problems with respect to defining the tribe, and how can we understand tribe? So that is about the first topic. Okay, so from here there can be another short note which was asked before, that is caste tribe continuum. Okay, caste tribe continuum, that is a separate short note which was asked actually from this topic only. We will come to that. Then apart from that, the second topic that we need to discuss is the colonial policies towards tribes and what impact it had on tribal social life. So we will be covering this and this topic today, and then this I will discuss with ethnic movement. This is a very simple topic. This is your geography topic, geographical spread of tribes, like which tribes are located in which parts of India. Okay, where the Gonds are located. That means you need to divide India into four parts. So in north, south, west and eastern part of India, central area, what are the different tribes are located. So that's not part of sociological. What I'll do is I'll share the material for that. You can just go through it. If it is required, I'll update the video in the application also. But anyway, you cannot leave this for chances. Although it is not sociological, there can be a question from this geographical spread of tribes. Okay, so you need to write here what are the different tribes which are seen in northern part of India, what are the tribes which are seen in southern part of India, central part of India. That's about that particular question. Okay, so we are going to address these two questions now, and this I will discuss with ethnic movement. So let's get started. So India has highest concentration of tribal population anywhere in the world except Africa. As per the rough estimate, tribal area constitute about 50% of total geographical area of the country. It is basically because mainly forest area is considered as tribal area. In that context only we are writing this. There are 595 tribes as per notified schedules, which constitute of thousands of subtypes. Historically, tribes have been addressed by various authorities by different names. So just go through these names, like for example, Herbert Risley and A.V. Thacker called them aboriginals. Okay, now if you remember when we discussed about Durkheim's theory of religion, I've told you Durkheim constructed the totemic religion, or he went for indirect experiment, right? And I've told you it is Australian Aboriginal. So it is basically Arunda tribes. So tribals are called in different names. Aboriginals, Hutton called them as primitive. On the other hand, Indian sociologist G.S. Gurye called them as backward Hindus. See, Gurye is saying that this is, let's suppose this is a tribals. They are Sanskritizing and they are improving their status, and finally they will become Hindus. So they will be merged with Hindu society. Different caste will also be developed, but towards the end, when they become the part of Hindu society, they will be at the lower end of the caste. Okay, Shudra, Dalit, that status is what they are actually going to get. So here, they are nothing but the backward Hindus. Tribals are the backward Hindus. The reason is they are getting that mobility and they will finally become Hindus. They will be absorbed in the Hindu system according to G.S. Gurye. So tribals are understood as backward Hindus, not yet Hindus, backward Hindus. Okay, so he will further see different types of tribals like backward Hindus and Hinduized tribes. So some were here partially Hinduized tribes also. Like this kind of categorization we will see when we discuss about Gurye's understanding of tribes, but that's actually not required in depth, we don't want to go, but have an idea. He understood tribes as backward Hindus. Okay, so tribes as backward Hindus, then some more development, partially Hinduized, more development, they will be integrated into the Hindu setup. So that is Hinduized tribe. So backward Hindus, partially Hinduized tribes, and Hinduized, completely assimilated into the Hindu system. Dr. Das renamed them as submerged humanity, and the term Adivasi was frequently used by the people for referring to tribes. So Adivasi is also another term which is used. The terminology itself indicate the divergence in the views of understanding the tribes. So the definitional problem of tribes deal with two interrelated problems mainly. Firstly, highlighting the problems in the definition of tribes. So there are many problems and we will discuss what are the problems. So this is the first part in the answer. Secondly, evolving an understanding of tribe in the Indian context. So first we will try what are the main problems in definition of tribe. Second, we will see how can we understand the tribe in the present context. So this is one example I have told you. G.S. Gurye gave an understanding like this. So here Hinduized tribes, here partially Hinduized tribes, here backward Hindus. Okay, so backward Hindus are the tribes. They will get Sanskritized to partially Hinduized and finally Hinduized. So this is the contemporary understanding. Now this level of understanding you will see from different thinkers, and that's what you will say that tribe-caste continuum. If you remember in the beginning I have told you tribe on one hand, caste on the other hand. So the status keep on changing. So somewhere here you can understand this as continuum. The degree may be different. Some group may be close to primitive, some group may be close to Hindus. So that's the second part. Okay. Now problem in definition of tribe. Commonly, tribes have been defined as a group of indigenous people with a shallow history, having a common name. So these are key words: common name, common language and territory, tied by kinship bonds, practicing endogamy, that means they marry from within, having distinct customs, rituals and beliefs, simple social ranks, that means among them like tribal ranking will be there, some people will be superior within them, right? And some simple political organization, common ownership of resources and some simple technology. So this is how you can understand a typical tribe. This is actually a typical ideal type of tribes, theoretical understanding of tribe. Okay, so this definition typically fit into a theoretical ideal type of primitive tribe. But okay, this definition along with other definition are unable to accommodate a large number of variations in the lifestyle of the tribes across the length and breadth of the country, which you can see nowadays. So this definition is not sufficient, because if you see, when we talk about common name, the different tribes have different names now. Language, different tribes speak different language. Territory also in the same way. Kinship bonds are not that strong as we discuss here. It is not necessarily endogamy these days. Okay, different customs, rituals, etc. that is actually diffused these days. They are not giving too much importance to customs, rituals. There may be some tribal groups, they are following it, but most of the tribal groups are actually coming out of it, especially because of their interaction and intermingling with the urban society, and because of migration, because of taking employment in urban areas, etc. Okay, so all these things you cannot see in its pure form now. That is a problem. Okay, moreover, these features mentioned above, all these features are shared by the caste population also, like kinship, endogamy, etc. are almost shared by caste population also, thereby creating a problem of distinction. The problem in such definition include, let's take one by one. First, we have discussed tribals, they have a geographical isolation, right? But this was significant in terms of primitive tribe, for example Jarawas of Andaman Nicobar. But nowadays tribals are no longer isolated, they are mostly integrated or assimilated in the mainstream society. So this concept is not possible to define a tribe now. Second, socio-cultural features. Nowadays a lot of mixing has been taken place. See, you need to write this in paragraph, okay? Taken place. So they seldom follow the traditional features. Then when we discuss about language, tribes in India do not have specific language, and either they belong to Aryan or Dravidian group or Chinese group. Only few may have specific language. So this is also not possible to have a unique identity. Autonomous, that autonomy is actually reduced, increase in population, interaction with outside world, so they cannot be considered as autonomous now. Administrative definition. Administrative definition means tribes are considered as backwardness or backward community. That is also not fit now, because some tribes, at least I have discussed with you this tribe, particular tribe group, Mina tribe group, they are so much advanced, at least especially in the context of government jobs and etc. Okay, so these are main challenges in defining and understanding the tribe. Apart from this, tribes cannot be identified in terms of their religious beliefs, as a lot of Sanskritization has been taken place. I've told you just before that the tribes are shifting and converting to either Hindus, or you can see a lot of Muslims and Christianity they have converted. And mostly during British time there were process of evangelization. Evangelization means conversion to Christianity. So the Christian missionaries activities, they mostly were confined to which areas? If you see, Mughals were not in central part of India, Marathas were not in central part of India, even the British also not was that great interested in central part of India and also northeastern part of India. So in these areas mostly tribals were there. So the Christian missionaries went in these areas and they started preaching the good messages of Jesus Christ. In fact, rather than talking about good messages of Jesus Christ, they maligned the Indian religions, and automatically they have also offered a lot of good helps like medical help, okay, and the educational advancements. Everything was offered by the Christian missionaries. They have offered the food. So when these people are offering all these things to the tribes who were neglected, who were ignored by Mughals, Marathas and even the British also, they started converting to Christianity. So that's what actually happened. So when you write evangelization, you need to be very careful that the Christian missionaries, if they wanted to convert people, they would have converted entire India. 200 years of British rule, so they had all the power, they had everything, so they would have easily converted the entire India. But hardly 2 to 3% is Christians. So hardly 2 to 3% is Christians, right? So that means the most conversions actually happen in the northeastern and central part of India. By offering mainly the benefits like education, they started schools, they started orphanages, they started hospitals, a lot of nursing care homes, caring homes, all these they have done. So a lot of good things have been done by Christian missionaries. So when you're writing the process of evangelization, you need to be very careful whether it is sociology or GS, okay? So that's about Sanskritization among the tribes, and number of tribes started worshipping the Hindu god. So that's what we have discussed under GS Gurya also. I have told you the same thing, tribe to partially Hinduized tribe to completely Hinduized tribes, okay? Now there has been numerous examples of tribes transforming themselves into larger entity of caste system and also towards Islam and Christianity. So now we will see evolving an understanding or a definition of tribe. Okay, thus in this way, it is very difficult to give an exact criteria for defining tribes in India. In order to resolve this controversy, various scholars have tried to define a tribe considering them as a stage in the evolutionary process. So this is how you need to understand the tribe. So they are actually one of the stage in the evolutionary process. So the evolution is going to reach at where? It is at the caste, okay, or the Hindu religion mainly, or in any religion. So tribes are part of an evolutionary process. So they will evolve and will come to become part of the caste system. Thus, instead of generating a single definition of tribes, which is very much not possible, that is what we have seen, single definition of tribes, different tribal groups have been identified as lying between two extremes. So on one side, the primitive tribe, and on the other side, caste. So this is what, tribe-caste continuum. This is very important. This question was asked in 2014 directly like this. It is not there in the syllabus, but it was asked. But anyway, it is expected that as part of this topic in the syllabus, you will be covering it. It is coming under this only. So that is the primitive tribe on one hand and caste on the other. Thus, a tribe-caste continuum is used to understand tribes in India rather than a single uniform definition. So we have understood the problem in constructing or making a single uniform definition. None of the tribes will actually fit into the definition. The definition which we have started off with, that is a theoretical definition or an ideal type, typical ideal type of primitive tribe that may be suitable to an extent for Andaman Nicobar, this Jarawas tribes. Apart from that, it will be very difficult to explain or define the other tribes by using that particular criteria. So rather than going for a single uniform definition, try to understand tribe as an evolutionary process. What is that evolution? Tribe caste continuum. So any tribe may fit into here, if maybe close to primitive tribe or maybe close to developed Hindu society, or maybe in between. Okay. Now, according to F.G. Bailey, the tribe-caste continuum is the only solution to the understanding of tribes in India. So this was actually the question which was asked, tribe-caste continuum. Okay. Now you will see some of the studies. Srikant committee divided tribes into 4 categories: tribals, semi-tribals. So that is a modification, right? Tribals to semi-tribals. So some of their primitiveness is changed. Acculturated tribals, that means their culture has almost gone and they started accepting the culture of others, okay, like Hindus. So acculturated tribes, and then completely assimilated into the Hindu system, assimilated tribes. So this is nothing but the evolutionary process. This is nothing but the example of tribe caste continuum. Tribal, or you can write primitive tribe. Semi-tribal, that means somewhat they change their stratification or the status. Then acculturated tribes, some of the cultures of other started incorporating, that means the process of Sanskritization. And then assimilated tribals. According to Gure, there are 3 categories. Okay, you can see this we have already discussed: Hinduized tribes, partially Hinduized tribes, and hill sections. Okay, so this is nothing but basically tribals. Okay, so completely tribals, so hill sections, then partially Hinduized, then Hinduized. So tribals, partially Hinduized, and then Hinduized. So this is also tribe caste continuum. So all these are examples of tribe caste continuum. So different tribes has to be identified not on the basis of a single uniform definition. It has to be understood in terms of a continuum. They vary in terms of degree. Okay. According to Majumdar, the 3-fold classification are real primitive, primitive tribe with degree of association with Hindus, and Hinduized tribes, almost similar to this only. Okay. Tribe caste continuum has been studied by Sinha for Bhumija tribe, again the same, Srivastav for Bhutia tribe, and Sachidanand for Gonds. Thus the definition of tribe depends upon the habitat, cultural customs, beliefs, way of living, and can be best understood in terms of a continuum rather than single uniform definition. Okay, so that's about the definitional problem of tribe. That is the first topic. There can be a direct question on definitional problem of tribe, or you can also expect a question like tribe caste continuum. So tribe caste continuum is actually proposed to understand the tribe properly, because tribe, any tribe if you take, they may not fit into the single uniform definition. That we have seen a definition. So the problem also we have seen, you cannot define on the basis of backwardness, you cannot define on the basis of region, not on the basis of religion, not on the basis of language. So tribes are so diffused and diverse groupings you can see. So it is always better to understand in terms of an evolutionary process, and this is their evolutionary stage. That's about that topic.